TIL there is shot-for-shot remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which took 3 Mississippi teenagers 7 years to make, starting when they were just 12 years old and made on a budget of $5,000. Steven Spielberg later wrote to the filmmakers, calling the boys' achievement an inspiration. "I saw this. The creators took the movie on a college tour a few years ago and I saw it. The highlight was when they actually tied one of the kids to a car and dragged him as he hung on. It was really fun to watch. Where can I watch this? Your achievement is an inspiration. Anyway, see you in court, Steven. That would be awesome to watch. Watching the actors age with the film. I've heard of aspiring writers copying established writers' work to learn. These teenagers must have learned a ton remaking the film. If you are wondering, you can buy the DVD here. https://www.zalatours.com/product page/the fan film on DVD, the fan film on DVD, the fan film on DVD, the fan film on DVD. Can we take a moment to restate that Indy is vital to the US getting the Ark over Germany and squash the Indy didn't matter nonsense? If you can find this, it is so worth watching. The guy who plays Indy took it on tour several years ago to raise money to shoot the fight around the airplane. I saw it twice in a theater and both times I got chills on what an amazing job these, at the time, teens did to make this masterpiece. It's always cool when people follow through on their dreams. It took 7 years to make. There's an episode of The Goldbergs that is all about this. Spielberg's like to think I could have made that film for only $5,000. It's pretty good, but I still like the original better. There is a documentary called Raiders. That is about this and the quest to film their final scene. Absolutely worth watching. I am pretty sure it's on Netflix. I worked for one of the creators of this for a few years, cool guy. We had a screening at work one time. I love when this comes up periodically. I mean, it's not exactly shot for shot, the cinematography is off. I think I saw Fan Indy running through a field instead of riding away on a horse. Sloppy work, 11-year-old kids from 1986. Tisk, tisk. Saw the film in a theater, it was the premiere and all the dudes were grown up. They did a Q&A afterwards. The kiss in the film was the first kiss the main protagonist ever had. Sadly, the main girl and guy did not get together in real life. The monkey scene was amazing. Everyone in the theater was loving it. He said that there was no question what they would do for it, it just made sense. I don't want to ruin it though, so you have to watch it for yourself. Man, my heart sank when I thought Spielberg was for some reason going to write them to stop, but the pleasant surprise did my cynical heart good. Wait till Spielberg watches Imbiamajams. Eric Zala used to run the QA testing group at EA Tiburon. Every year we would watch his adaptation, Good Times. The only good times working in EA QA. Fun facts. The on-screen kiss with the girl was that boy's first kiss in real life. The burning bar scene was shot in a basement, and it almost burned the entire house down. The exploding head effect was done by pouring a plaster mold around Eric's head. The breathing tubes they left for him weren't sufficient and they couldn't get the mold off. It requires a trip to the ER where he lost some skin and all of his eyebrows. The local artsy theater in my town played it and I very much loved it. The transition between the plane scenes is my favorite part. A pickup to replace a horse. This is so cute. Lee Sandlin of the Chicago Reader even hinted that the film was better than the original. There's a whole documentary about this. https://en.m. wikipedia.org/wiki/raiders: :_the_greatest_fan_film_ever_made. #IT belongs in a museum. Awesome thread here, folks. I played Salah in the adaptation and made it to the filming of the final plane scene in 2014 with my son, 6 years old at the time. It's a thing I stumbled into at the ripe age of 12 and has brought me immense joy to be a part of over the years. What do you want to know? My wife got me this movie and a companion making of documentary. It's fascinating and enjoyable. And an excuse to say the dialogue along with the actors one more time for posterity. So I never seen Raider of the Lost Ark, should my first time ever be watching the fan-made one. Grew up in the same town with these guys, AMD attended the same high school. Amazing and awesome that their achievement continues to garner attention. Wonder if this was part of the inspiration for Be Kind Rewind, https://en. Wikipedia, org/wiki/be_kind_rewind. https://www. Raidersguys.com/. I'm from Tupelo, MS. The guys screened it in the park in front of our town hall and had a Q&A probably 10 years ago. I marked that event as my official transition from casual moviegoer to obsessed film buff. By far one of the top 10 experiences of my young adulthood. Good for Mr. Spielberg for not going into lawyer mode over this. This sounds crazy, but when I was a teenager, my aunt's husband told me he made a shot-for-shot version of Raiders of the Lost Ark. He told me Spielberg wrote back. He was also from Mississippi. So yeah, I know one of those boys alluded to in this post. Now man. My aunt's husband was really proud of this movie they made. How do you see the entire movie? For that money, they could have produced Megadeth's debut album. I used to work with Mr. Zala. He has the letter from Steven Spielberg signed and framed in his office. It was really cool to find out that your boss is a legend. It's an incredible movie. When Indy kisses Marion, it's the boys' literal first kiss. A few years ago they released a film about them all trying to get the final shot they never got, like 30 years later. Well worth a watch. I saw this exhibit at a museum when I was a kid. We got to sit down and watch the home movie. Apparently these guys growing up would ask for props for Christmas and things like spray paint and tools and whatnot. They had to replace the female lead halfway through but kept the shot they got with a real submarine, and the original girl, just because there was no way for them to get a shot of a submarine again. Spielberg wrote to the boys, calling the film an inspiration. He immediately followed up with a cease and desist. I actually worked for one of those kids from 2012 to 2014 or so. This movie was his crowning life's achievement. He never once shut up about it every time he spoke. He had the letter from Spielberg framed on the wall. He was actually a huge douchebag. Fuck you, Eric Zala. I wish Nintendo would do this instead of their cease and desist letters. I guess Steven does what Nintendo don't. This is amazing. I'm pretty sure Steven Spielberg started making movies as a kid by doing exactly this, taking classic films and trying to recreate them shot for shot. I actually saw this on VHS, around 96 or 97, can't remember the story of how a friend ended up with a copy, maybe he knew one of the boys who made it? Really weird running into a mention of it so many years later. I like the sweat version more. I hope this post makes the guys millions. 31 years after it was made. I watched a documentary on the making of this, I think it was called Raiders. There is a documentary about this out there. It's awesome. Scope it. It's genuinely impressive the variety of scenes and outfits the kids were able to create. I swear some of the scenes looked like an actual movie set. IIRC, there was a Goldberg's episode, Adam Spielberg, S4/5, which mentioned people making their own home movie versions of Hollywood blockbusters. The fan-made Raiders was mentioned and inspiration for it. Teenagers when they started or ended. 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. There's a great documentary on Netflix about this, I forget what it's called. I met their mother and toured the house where they did a lot of their shots. Great antebellum home on the Gulf. The documentary was super fun. 7 years to make the film, 1 minute to write the letter. That's what I remember watching. I had vague memories of seeing this when I was younger, but it was always so mixed up with the original and all the various tributes to it that I could never remember if it was real or not. This is awesome. These days they would be sued into oblivion, Or at the very least all of the IP violating stuff would be seized.